makeup look. On an everyday basis, I pretty much don't wear a lot of makeup, only when I'm going out or on the weekends if I have a dinner or an event on. So during the week I like to keep it really natural and really subtle, so I thought I would show you guys what products I like to use on an everyday basis. For me, the emphasis is always on skin. I love really dewy, hydrated looking skin with a nice bronzed glow, and I also love highlighter. I just think it gives the most beautiful glowing look to the skin, so that's definitely the focus of this makeup look. I always like to keep the eyes very subtle with a light amount of colour and just a beautiful natural looking nude lip as well. In this tutorial I show you some of my favourite holy grail products that I use on an everyday basis. I basically can't live without these products. I just find they work really well for me on an everyday basis. They're really quick and easy to use, and they just give a beautiful natural finish. So if you guys would like to see how to achieve this everyday natural makeup look, then please keep watching. I'm going to start by priming my skin using the SMASHBOX Photo Finish Primer Water. It's just a really quick and easy primer to use with its spraying formula, so I find this one is really good for an everyday makeup look when you might be in a rush or you just want to do something quick and easy. For foundation, I'm using my favourite everyday one, and this is the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless. I use the shade number 220 Natural Beige. I'm going to blend that in with my Morphe M439 brush. I find that this foundation just has a really nice thin consistency, so it's not too much coverage for an everyday makeup look, because I don't really use full coverage makeup for natural everyday looks, just because I like my skin to be able to breathe a little bit and show through still. This is the foundation I use every day pretty much, because not a lot of the time I wear a lot of makeup unless I'm going to an event or out on the weekend, so this is definitely my favourite foundation for everyday wear. It reminds me of the NARS Sheer Glow, which is my all-time favourite foundation, so this one being a drugstore foundation is definitely a lot cheaper, so I find using this one a lot more just so I don't run out of my NARS one. And the Matte and Poreless has a beautiful, more of a satin finish. It's not too matte, so because I have dry skin, I don't find that it dries on me too much and doesn't make my skin look too dry or flaky or anything, so I find this foundation works really nicely. For concealer, I like to use more of a really natural lightweight concealer, so I use this BECCA AQUA Luminous Perfecting Concealer, and I use this one in the shade Medium, which is more like my skin colour when I have a tan. That way I don't like to do too much brightening or too much of a lighter colour under the eyes. It just looks a lot more natural for every day. So I'm just going to apply some of that under the eye area. A little bit in the centre of the forehead, just down the bridge of my nose. The corners of the nose I tend to get a little bit of redness, so I always like to put some there. And then just on the centre of the chin as well. And my favourite concealer brush is the Morphe G2. This brush just fits perfectly under the eyes. It's a nice medium size, so it just fits really well, especially around the eye area to blend out the concealer. So we have a nice natural looking base. It still has a bit of coverage, but nothing too full or heavy, and it just feels really lightweight on my skin, which is what I like to do for more of a natural everyday makeup look. And to set my face, I'm going to use some of the Benefit Hello Flawless foundation powder. Mine is in the shade Ivory, and I'm going to apply that with a Morphe G8 brush. So I don't usually powder my whole face just because this foundation is more of a matte finish, so I'll just set under my eye area where I placed concealer. On top of my eyelids. They tend to get a little bit oily if you don't set them when you've had a concealer product on top. And I'll just set in the centre of my forehead, down the bridge of the nose and the sides of the nose, and also in the chin. And I also like to use a little bit of powder just on the area where I know I'm going to put a little bit of bronzer, just so the bronzing powder is going to blend a lot easier over top of powder than going straight over a foundation. So I always love to add bronzer, even for an everyday makeup look. Just adds a bit more colour back into the skin because your face looks quite one-dimensional with just foundation and powder. So bringing a bit more colour into the skin, I love to add bronzer. And for an everyday makeup look, my favourite bronzer to use is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. This one smells amazing. Oh my god, it smells so good. It smells like the beach, like that really nice coconut smell. And this colour is just a really, really soft, natural looking bronzer. It's not too warm and orange looking, and it's definitely not too dark either, so I find this one just adds that really nice bronzed look to the skin, but very, very subtle. So I love using this one every day. And I use the Morphe E4 brush to apply this. So I'm first going to apply some just on my cheek area. And I also like to apply some to the temples and just along the forehead as well. See, it's just warmed up my skin a little bit, but it's definitely not too heavy or over the top. So this bronzer is definitely my favourite one to use for an everyday makeup look. Sometimes for my everyday natural makeup look, I won't use any blush, but if I am going to use some, I always use a very, very natural looking one. And my favourite one to use is this one by MAC, and it is Warm Soul. This is just a really beautiful golden bronze with a hint of a pink tone to it. It's just so natural looking on the skin. So if you just want a little bit of a flush of colour, I really, really love using this one. I'm just using that same angled brush by Morphe. I just apply some of this just right on the front of the cheeks. So it just gives that beautiful flush of colour to the apples of the cheek. So definitely my favourite everyday blush. And no matter what makeup look I'm doing, I always use highlighter. It's probably my #1 favourite product. So I will use a little bit on an everyday basis, not as heavy as I would for more of an evening look, but I do always like to add a bit of highlight. I just think it makes your skin look extra glowing and just really beautiful, so I always like to do that step. And my favourite highlighter to use is the one by BECCA. This is the Shimmering Skin Perfector in the shade Champagne Pop. This is just such a beautiful light golden tone highlight. I'm so in love with this one. It's the one I just grab for every day. I'm not sure why, but I just love the colour and it just looks beautiful. So I definitely need to wear highlighter, so this is my favourite one to use. And to apply that, I use my favourite highlight brush, which is the Anastasia Beverly Hills number A23. I just like to dust a little bit of this on the top of the cheekbones. And just up towards the temple area as well. You can see it just gives that beautiful glow to the skin. And I'll also add a little bit just down the bridge of my nose, on the tip of the nose, and just a little bit on the cupid's bow as well. So you can see it just gives that really nice glowing look to the skin. Makes your skin look really healthy and dewy, which is really nice. Even for an everyday makeup look, I just think it makes your skin just look more emphasized, so I love doing this step for an everyday natural makeup look. So moving on to eyes, I start with my eyebrows, and I just like to define them very, very naturally for an everyday look. Sometimes I won't do too much because I do have quite full natural brows, but I do have tiny little sections that aren't as filled in as others, so I like to go in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in the shade Dark Brown, just to fill in any gaps and just give a little bit more definition to the brows, but definitely nothing too heavy. I just start by combing through the brows with the spoolie end, just to make sure they're all facing in the same direction. So I always like to start by tracing a line underneath my brow and then on top. I just find that's really easy to get the correct shape, and then I'll just go in and lightly fill in at the middle. And I use a very, very light hand towards the front of the brow because I don't want that area to look too heavy. I just like to keep it as natural as possible. Especially have little sparse areas towards the end of the brow there, so I always like to just fill that area in. And then I'll go back and just lightly trace along the brows. Then I'll just go through and make sure that product is distributed evenly throughout the brows using the spoolie brush. And to set my brows in place, I love using the L'Oreal Brow Artist Plumper in the shade Medium Dark. This is just great for holding your brows in place. My brows are a little bit long, so they do tend to kick up and stray a little bit, so this just makes sure that they stay in place. Even on days where I'm not wearing too much makeup at all, I'll just comb a little bit of this through my brows and it just gives it a nice tint of colour. For my eyes, I like to keep it very simple. What I like to do is use some of the bronzer that I used on my cheeks, and I'll apply that in my crease area just to give a bit more definition. I'm just going to use a Morphe M441 blending brush just to apply that right into the crease and just above. This is really good for just defining the crease area a bit more and just adding a little bit of colour on the eyes without being too heavy. I find bronzer always looks really nice and natural on the eyes as well. And I also like to apply a bit of that just underneath the lash line, and I like to do that with the Morphe G26. This is a really good flat brush just for applying the bronzer right close to the lower lash line underneath. And this will just balance out the eyes a bit more. And for my lid, I just like to apply a really soft shimmery shade. My favourite one to use is in the MAC 15 eyeshadow palette. This is the warm version, and I really like to use this shimmery colour in the centre. This one here, this is called Honeylust. It's just a beautiful champagne pink with a little bit of gold through it. It's just a really nice natural shimmer colour that I like to use all over my lid, just for a bit of sheen. I'll apply that with the same brush, but just using the flat side and just pressing that all over the lid, concentrating it more in the first half. Then I just go back in with the Morphe M441 just to blend that in the crease area, so that it's just nice and softly blended. And going back into the BECCA Shimmering Skin Perfector Champagne Pop, I'll apply a little bit of that just to the inner corners of the eyes and along the brow bone. And this is a Napoleon Curtis Smudging and Sculpting Brush number 7R. So it's just the perfect shape. It's got like a little dome tip on it. Just fits really easily into the inner corner of the eye area, and also to blend that underneath the brows. And that just adds a nice little bit of shimmer to the eyes as well, to tie in with the rest of the highlight on the face. And for mascara, I'm using the Maybelline Mega Plush Volume Express. This has just been my absolute favourite mascara. I love the wand, and I just find it gives really nice length and volume to my lashes, and it doesn't smudge on me at all with my lower lashes either. I do have some trouble with that because I've got such long lower lashes, but I find this mascara does not smudge at all. I'm just going to apply a few coats of that on my top and lower lashes. I don't wear false lashes on an everyday basis. I only really wear them if I'm going out, so if you wear lashes every day, feel free to add lashes, but for this look, I won't be using any lashes, just a few coats of mascara. And for my lips, I just love using a really nice natural pinky nude lip colour. So my favourite one to wear at the moment has been this one by NYX. It is one of the soft matte lip creams in the shade London. I've been loving this one on its own, or if I want to add a little bit of gloss, I'll add some gloss over the top of it as well. Just a beautiful soft nude pinky brown shade. I'm in love with this colour. So I might just leave my lips like this. Otherwise, if I want them to be a little bit more shiny and glossy, I'll add some gloss over the top. And I really love the NYX Butter Gloss. This one is in the shade Tiramisu, so I'll put a little bit of that on top. That just gives more of a nice glossy look to the lips. And then to finish off, I love spraying some MAC Fix Plus. This is just like heaven in a bottle. I do this after every makeup look. It just adds so much hydration. It gives a really nice glow to the skin and it emphasizes the highlights on the skin as well. So I love using this on top. So this is the final look. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I love the way the skin turned out especially. I'm just so in love with glowing, bronzy looking skin. That's always my focus for a natural everyday makeup look. And this lip combo I've just been wearing non-stop on a day-to-day basis as well. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below. There's plenty more videos coming very shortly. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.